Perfect. Hi, Poppy. Thank you for meeting
Hi.
with us. So,
Oh, thank you so much.
thank you. So, just to introduce myself, my name's Sophia Davison. I'm the manager of our private collections here at Aston Walbrook, and we're a
Hi.
gallery based in London who represent mainly emerging artists, and we're very happy to have you on board with us. So,
I'm so happy to be.
yes, us as well. So, why don't you start by telling us a bit about yourself and maybe your journey and as to how you became an artist?
Yeah, sure. So I've been creating all of my life, since I was a, a little child. Both my mum and my dad are artists, and it runs through my family. So my half sisters are also creative. So I've always been around art. My dad's a painter, my mum was a painter and a sculptor. So it's been in my journey and my life, since I can remember, really. And probably about a decade ago, I decided to take it to the next level and, you know, go for it as a career. Um, it's kind of always been in me to create. So yeah, I think that's kind of where it all began. Like, I was creating a lot of things during the time, like 10 years ago, I was branching out to making music, and I was branching out to trying to make clothes and making art at the same time. And it just fell into place. I had to really analyze everything that I was doing at that time. And I had to channel into one particular creative direction. And I always knew it was art. So that's kind of where it began as a career, I'd say. Even though it's been a huge part of my entire existence since, yeah, since I can remember, really.
Lovely, nice. A nice come from a family of artists. It's kind of been your destiny, I guess you would say.
I
Mm.
I do feel like that. Yeah, I've it's been kind of in my life forever. I couldn't imagine my world without art.
Mm.
So so doing it for a profession, as much as it's a profession, it's something I can't really hide away from. I feel like my artistic energy, it kind of surrounds me. Like, anybody who knows me, like, I'm very much, my art is very much about myself and my journey. My whole surroundings is quite in touch with the work I do. Yeah, it's definitely, my work is definitely about a journey, and it's about my journey that I've been on so far, and the existence of life. So yeah, it all kind of comes together as a package, I would say. I'm very much about the work I create, if that makes
Definitely,
sense. Yeah.
definitely, yeah. So how would you describe your style of art?
So I get questioned this quite a lot. It's quite a varied style, and I've got different mediums that I go down with my work. So I started off, about 10 years ago, when I started selling my work, was collage, and graphic design. Um, I've collected a lot of old 60s and 70s magazines from from those eras, and I'm really fascinated by this time. And that's kind of where I started, is the collage, and sort of building a piece of artwork from like a time capsule from somebody else's like moment where they photographed something, and then I would bring it into like an otherworldly slash um, modern day twist. But then, as the time has gone on for me, I've really felt like I needed to connect on a deeper level with my work, as to why I went into painting about 2 years ago, and that's where I'm going forward with, is working just so closely with the canvas, basically, to create. I guess there's elements of like surrealism in my work. It's quite, you know, dreamy. There's definitely like a narrative that is about my experience, about life experiences, about self-belief. There's definitely like a touch of playfulness to my work. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've gone on lots of journeys throughout my life so far, and being able to express those journeys through creativity is so important to me. So it does change. I'm not put into like one category, I'd say, in my artistic style. I would say that I'm always creating, but at the moment I'm heavily working on painting and using my collage aspect within my paintings as well, with like a narrative, storytelling, bit of like surrealist, neo pop art. There's definitely like elements of like pop art, I'd say, because of like the vibrant colors I'm using. Yeah, it's varied, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. What would you say is your favorite art movement?
So I do love surrealist art. I'm a big fan of Salvador Dali. Yeah, anything that is kind of like taking that dream aspect to another level. Very like thought-provoking, but it's otherworldly at the same time, which is something that I've definitely incorporated within my works. Like there's a theme of like dreaming, and then it kind of imploding into something that pops, you know. So I'm definitely a big fan of Salvador Dali, Picasso. You know, really, they're really strong pieces for me, and they really connect with me. But then at the same time, I'm a huge fan of like Bridget Riley. Like I'm absolutely adore like the calmingness of something quite minimal, and maybe that reflects something within me where it's got that part kind of chaos, calming chaos of like life and dream. But then also I'm very much about the minimal, like, you know, I really love like Boo Saville, who's a current artist, but she reminds me, you know, of that kind of Bridget Riley-esque, you know, very just minimal, expressive color. Yeah, so and obviously, you know, I'm a huge fan of Basquiat and Andy Warhol and like the 60s, 70s movement. Yeah, they all kind of combine. I've not got like a particular movement that I'm drawn to. I think I'm quite I'm interested in anything that makes me, you know, dive into somebody's world, but yet also calms me. So I would say it's a balance, really. Yeah.
Nice. So you mentioned like dream world quite a lot. Where do you draw inspiration from? Do you get any inspiration from your dreams?
Yeah, I think I probably do. I dream every night, but I don't always remember my dreams. A lot of my inspiration, I mean, again, it's very much about my life experiences. I'm very like experiences that I've gone through that have changed me, like the total self-belief, you know, to come out of something that you may never have thought you could see the light of day, for instance. Like I try and put like a really positive stance on my work, to help people go through maybe, you know, challenging experiences, because there is always, life is beautiful, that there's always the ability to change, to you know, hold on to that positivity. But yeah, like dreaming is a big thing for me. Like I dream a lot about, you know, daytime dreaming.
Yeah.
So even if I don't remember my night dreams, I'm constantly having, you know, dreams of what's now and what's to come, and just the excitement of life, really.
Nice, lovely. Are there certain messages you try and bring through your art to your audience?
Yeah, I think there's quite a few messages. At the moment, I had a series, which I'm still creating more from, called Stronger Together, which is, you know, it's a big thing for me, that I believe that we're all drawn to be strong. We're all drawn together, even if we, you know, we're on different paths, completely, you know, separate lives. But there's a really key thing to remember in life, is that we are stronger together. And, you know, life is really precious. And, you know, I do try and put these messages into my work to have a positive effect. And I've seen a really positive outcome from it. Like the Stronger Together, for instance, I'm using more and more in my paintings now. It was a series on paper, but I just feel like they're important messages to put across. I like to follow your path as well. You know, a lot of positive affirmations. I think by seeing, you know, I really love the old advertisements from magazines, and that's something that captures me. But I know that if they were, you know, I change what I'm inspired by, like, you know, for instance, with my Paris, Texas, and it's just, you know, this really red. I'm just looking at it now, but it's just like a really raw, intense red, and it just screams like it screams your attention. So to put something like a message in a piece of artwork, it's going to subconsciously make you feel good. So yeah, I try and put positive messages into my work as much as possible.
Nice, nice. What's the typical process behind creating your pieces?
So there's not really a typical process. Generally, when I start getting going on a new series of paintings, I will usually have had some time to think about, you know, maybe if it was something that was going through it in my life, because I'm quite my work is quite personal to me, even if it doesn't, you know, come across in some pieces, that it's quite personal. So I usually take some time to focus on, you know, the ideas that will pop through into my mind, and then I will progress to do sketches. And these sketches might change, but I'm always with my note, with my pad to just make sure that I've got ideas, you know, words, images, and then I feel like I have to come to a place where I'm going to be in my studio for the foreseeable, and usually once I get going on a series or a painting, from having time to really collect, you know, what it is that I want to see come out of this piece, I'm usually stuck in the studio for days and hours, and it's a beautiful moment. Yeah, it's the first thing I will do when I wake up, is I will be straight back onto the painting, and I don't really look at the time. I don't like to go on my phone. I like to just be in my moment. And this can be over a period of, you know, days, weeks, who knows, but it's a special place for me. And yeah.
Nice. Are there any pieces that you're working on right now that you want to talk about?
So I'm actually I'm going off to do an exciting art project abroad. This is my second mural. And I'm really looking forward to that. I'm actually leaving today, so after our call. And that's I've been prepping for this, so I've had to take the last week to just put all my energy into this new concept. So that's my main focus. And then when I come back, I have ideas for a new series of large paintings. But again, I'll be taking the time while I'm creating abroad to expand where these ideas might take me. But I've just put the paintbrush down.
Oh, wow.
Just so I can focus on the art installation and the mural that I'll be working on.
Lovely.